The boutique went quiet the moment she stepped inside, not because she was loud, because she didn't look like the customers they were used to. It was the kind of bridal shop that felt more like a private gallery than a store. Mirrors everywhere, soft lighting, champagne on silver trays, and white gowns displayed like they were protected by museum rules. And then Emily walked in, alone. No stylist, no entourage, no designer bag swinging from her arm. Just a simple dress, comfortable shoes, and a small notebook held close to her chest. Inside that notebook were sketches, dress ideas, necklines, sleeves, fabrics, tiny notes written in the margins like soft waistline, not too much sparkle, something that feels like me. Emily had been collecting ideas for months, not because she wanted to impress anyone, because she wanted to remember what she liked before the world started telling her what she should like. She stood near the entrance politely, waiting for someone to greet her. 3 bridal consultants were busy with other brides. One was adjusting a veil, another was pinning a gown, the third was standing beside a mirror, nodding dramatically, like she was approving a royal portrait. But even while they worked, their eyes kept drifting toward Emily, not welcoming, evaluating, like she was a question they didn't want to answer. One consultant finally walked over with slow steps and a professional smile. Perfect teeth, perfect posture, perfect tone. "Hi there, can I help you?" Emily nodded politely. "Yes, I have an appointment. Emily Carter, 10:30. The consultant tapped her tablet, then looked back at Emily, then down at her shoes. A pause, long enough that nearby customers noticed the hesitation. "I'm not seeing that appointment," she said. Emily blinked once. "Oh, I booked online yesterday. I got the confirmation email." The consultant didn't ask to see it. She didn't say, "Let me check again." Instead, she leaned slightly toward another consultant, whispered something, and both of them looked Emily over again, this time longer. Then the first consultant said, quietly, like she was doing Emily a favor by warning her, "Our gowns start at $12,000. The number floated through the showroom like perfume. A bride across the room stopped adjusting her veil. Someone's friend glanced over her shoulder. A soft laugh came from behind the counter, quick, muffled, but real. And Emily did something that my stomach twisted when she told me later. She didn't get angry, she didn't snap, she didn't try to prove anything. She just held her notebook tighter and said, "I understand." The consultant's smile stayed thin. "Sometimes people come in here just to look." Emily nodded again, politely. "I'd still like to try a few styles if possible." The consultant tilted her head, the way people do when they're pretending to be kind. "People like you usually misunderstand our pricing." That was the moment the room really turned into an audience. Phones started tilting upward. Not obvious, but enough. Not everyone, but enough. Emily looked around the mirrors, and in every reflection, it was the same picture. Her standing alone while strangers decided what she deserved. She didn't cry, but her cheeks flushed, and you could tell she was doing that quiet, internal math people do when they're being judged. Should I explain? Should I defend myself? Should I just leave? The consultant stepped half a pace closer, lowering her voice like she was offering advice. "If you're looking for inspiration photos, there are plenty online." Another quiet laugh, this one from a customer, not even an employee. Emily's fingers tightened around the notebook. Then she said softly, "Okay, I can leave if you're busy." And as she started to turn toward the door, the glass entrance opened, and I walked in. I wasn't in a tux, I wasn't surrounded by assistants, no dramatic entrance, just a simple suit, calm posture, and a quiet reason for being there. I noticed her immediately. Emily, standing alone, notebook in hand, trying to keep her face composed, like she wasn't standing in the middle of a public rejection. The manager was speaking now, louder than before, the kind of voice people use when they want witnesses.
"Ma'am, this boutique serves a very specific clientele." Emily nodded, eyes lowered. "I understand, but this environment may not be the right fit for you." A few customers shifted uncomfortably, not brave enough to intervene, just uncomfortable enough to know it was wrong. Emily closed her notebook slowly. All right, she whispered. Then she turned toward the door, and that's when I said her name. Emily. The entire room turned. She looked up. For half a second, relief flashed across her face. Then she forced a small smile, like she didn't want to make the situation bigger. It's okay, she said softly. They're busy. The manager stepped forward immediately, directing her voice at me now. "Sir, this case is currently assisting scheduled clients." Polite, dismissive, cold. I looked around the showroom. Mirrors, staff, customers, all watching like this was entertainment. Then I looked back at the manager. "My fiancée had an appointment," I said calmly. The manager folded her hands. "Unfortunately, we have to prioritize serious buyers." That sentence landed like a verdict.
We can go somewhere
Emily
else.
touched my arm gently. "It's fine," she whispered. "We can go somewhere else." The manager smiled like she just won. "Yes, that might be best." You could feel the room relax because everyone assumed the scene was over, that the poor girl got put in her place, that the couple would quietly leave. I nodded slowly. Then I reached into my jacket. No dramatic pause, no anger, no raised voice. I placed a small black card on the counter. At first, the manager barely looked. Then she did, and her expression changed, because the boutique logo was embossed in silver, and beneath it were words most people never see up close. Owner authorization. The manager picked it up carefully, like it suddenly had weight. Her posture shifted, her face tightened. I replied. "I purchased this boutique a year ago, quietly, as an investment at first. Then I got involved when I realized how much the experience matters to brides." The showroom went still. Phones lowered, whispers stopped. Even the brides in front of mirrors slowly turned around. The manager's confidence drained out of her like someone had opened a valve. I didn't realize." "That's the point," I said. "You shouldn't have to." Emily looked at me, confused. "You bought this place?" "A year ago," I said gently. Then I looked back at the manager. "I come in unannounced sometimes, not to intimidate anyone, just to see what happens when no one thinks they're being watched." Every employee froze. I kept my voice steady, controlled. "You dismissed a bride based on appearance." The consultant who had spoken to Emily took a small step back. "You assumed she was wasting your time, and you embarrassed her publicly because you thought there wouldn't be consequences." The manager's voice trembled. "I apologize." I shook my head
Not
once.
to me.
"Not to me." The manager turned to Emily, and her tone changed instantly, softer, pleading, rehearsed. "I'm very sorry. We must have had a misunderstanding." Emily nodded politely, but you could tell she wasn't relieved. She was just tired, because apologies given only after power is revealed don't feel like apologies. They feel like damage control. I looked around the boutique again, at the mirrors, at the staff, at the room full of brides who had watched everything like a show. "In this business," I said calmly, "the most important person in the room is always the bride." Silence. "You don't judge her, you don't test her, and you never make her feel like she doesn't belong." No one moved. The manager lowered her gaze. "Starting today, leadership here will change, not as punishment, as a correction. No yelling, no humiliation in return, just consequence." Emily squeezed my hand. "Let's go," she whispered. But before we left, something happened that I didn't expect.
One of the brides near the mirror, someone in lace with a veil half-pinned, spoke up. "That was disgusting," she said, staring at the manager. "She deserves an apology from all of you." Another bride nodded. Yeah, that wasn't misunderstanding, that was judgment. Then another voice, then another. And suddenly the room didn't feel like a courtroom anymore. It felt like people remembered they were human. The first consultant, the one who checked the tablet, looked at Emily, swallowed hard, and quietly said, "I'm sorry." Not perfect, not polished, but real. Emily didn't celebrate it. She just nodded, still holding her notebook. And as we walked toward the door, I asked her softly, "Do you want to come back? We can book a private appointment, no pressure." Emily looked down at her notebook. Then she opened it. Inside were her sketches, simple, thoughtful, personal, the kind of designs that weren't made to impress strangers. At the top of one page, she had written a small line to herself, "Wedding Day." She smiled a little. "I think I already found what I needed." I frowned. "You did?" She tapped the page. "I don't want a dress that makes me feel like I have to earn the right to be here. I want one that feels like us." I squeezed her hand. "Then we'll do it your way." And as we stepped outside, away from the mirrors and the champagne and the price tags that made people forget their manners, I looked back once. That boutique, where she had been made to feel small, was completely silent. Not because anyone was impressed, because they were ashamed. And sometimes the loudest lesson isn't delivered with a speech. It's delivered when the person you tried to dismiss turns out to have the power to change the room without ever raising their voice.